good friends with him. First time I met Tamal Krishna Maharaj was in 1980, I think, or 81 in Mayapur. I had a red jumper on. We were at the temple room and I didn't know much about him, younger devotee. I knew who he was. He chastised me for wearing a red jumper. He says, we don't wear red jumpers, it's a spiritual injunction. I said, I like red jumpers. So he gave me a look. I didn't know much about it then. So we didn't exchange many words. And he sent one of his servants, he said, find out the name of that devotee with the red jumper. I want to know what his name is. So his servant came up to me. He said, Tamal Krishna Maharaj wants to know what your name is. So I gave him my name. So one time he called me over to his room and he explained to me about wearing a red jumper because he's very into intricate, little details. And from there on we became like friends, and I played the role as a servant with him. And then we will meet every year. And then when I came to live in Mayapur, that's about 37 years ago, I would always meet him here. So we became good friends. I was part of his circle. He was associated with his god brothers. I was just played a simple role. And he was always good to me. I remember serving him. So after serving him, day in, day out, because there was only a couple of Westerners here in Mayapur then. And so we became friends that way. And to elaborate more, I would serve him and his god brothers prasadam, look after him in many ways. And one point there, he said to me, you serve me very nicely. You do know how to serve. I said, I don't know. So it was like, then it became even more closer relationship. And one time I was serving him, I think Shivaram Maharaj was there, a devotee called Nitai Chan, who was a temple president of Mayapur then, he was there. A few devotees were there. And we were serving. So I was organizing the servants. And he was very pleased the way I served, and I served him. He said, next time you come here, I will serve you. I said, no, Maharaj, it's okay. So he had lunch the next day. So I was there, I'm on the side there. He goes, sit down. Okay, then he gets up and serves me prasadam. And I thought, wait a minute, this is getting a bit too much now. So we developed a relationship like that. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj was a personality that some devotees found him heavy, but I found him light because I would question him the way he was doing things. So we were together more or less day and night, and I was trying to finish Prabhupada's Samadhi then. So I had like double job. I had the Samadhi to finish and look after Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So it was a wonderful, wonderful relationship. And he was always so good to me. I could see he was heavy with some of his disciples. And they would come up to me and say, he's so good with you. I said, well, I'm a little bit soft. I think that's why he's not chastising me. So it was a wonderful relationship like that. So I'll tell a couple of stories about that. One time, he came up to me very, very close. How long have I got to speak? Because I talk too much.
Yes.
5 minutes more?
Yes.
Okay. So he came up to me very close. He looks at my curder. He said, is that tomato sauce? I said, yes. I said, Maharaj, I had pasta for lunch. He goes, how come I wasn't invited? He goes, why? Why did you invite me? I said, I got invited somewhere else. So these are the sort of leelas I had with Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And one time, when I was at home, Tamal Krishna Maharaj came to my house, knocks on the door. I said, oh, Maharaj, what brings you here? There was a few devotees in my house. There was Narashrak was there, Anudesh Bapu was there, so many devotees were there. So what's going on here? Oh, we're just having a chat. It's like our normal activities. So he sat down, angry at me because I didn't invite him. I wasn't thinking of inviting him. To me, he was a big personality. Then he said, I just came here because I'm finished my book. I want to see what you think of it. I said, me? Yeah. And so he goes, I want you to read a few pages of that. So I started reading. He goes, sit down, you're hopeless. He goes, oh, what sort of reader are you? Then he got somebody else. He goes, oh my God. He said, what's going on here? Can't you read properly? Then he says, you got anything to eat, Sadhu? I said, no, there's nothing. He goes, okay, everybody, let's go to my place. So we had to go to the conch building. He said, I'll feed you, and then we'll discuss my book. So then he started reading. But his reading was like poetry. It was so sweet. It was so nice. I thought, oh, I'm glad he didn't ask me to read. So this is the relationship I developed with Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So we could be together all day and we wouldn't be sick of each other. We could just talk all day. It was like unbelievable. Then he'll ask me a question. When are you going back to Melbourne? I said, I've got to go in a couple. Just you let me know when you're going back. I said, okay. Then I said, why? Just let me know. And then I send him a message. I'm going back on such a date. He goes, okay, book your flight, Calcutta, Singapore, Bangkok, and you have to come through Hong Kong. I said, Hong Kong, that's up top there. He goes, because I want to be there and I want to be there when you're there. I said, okay. So I will have to tell him when I'm going, wherever I'm going. So then he will wait for me. So when I will go to Hong Kong, we'll be together all day. It was actually very, very sweet. Then I was leaving Hong Kong to go on a flight. He goes, how are you going to the airport? I said, just across the road from the temple, there's a bus stop that goes directly to the airport. He goes, really? I said, yeah. He goes, okay, we'll take you. I said, you're going to come on a bus with me? He goes, yeah. So he came all the way, it's about an hour and a half journey to the airport. It was just a new airport just opened up. So he took me to the airport in the bus. So these were the relationships with Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And ever since then, we've always been friends. And I was always in his circle. Even though I served him, he still treated me with kindness and very, very sweet. And he could also talk to me and ask me questions. And I'll tell you another story. He said, I want you to do 2 big paintings for me of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. I said, yeah, I can do that. So I showed him which ones. He said, we'll do these. Then he came back and he said, I want to have a look how the paintings are going. I said, okay. And he goes, Lord Chaitanya's looking like Marlon Brando. I don't know if you all know, anybody knows who Marlon Brando is. I said, Maharaj, we're just starting. He goes, no, but it looks like Marlon Brando. I said, do you know what they say about showing somebody unfinished painting? He goes, don't you dare say it to me. So then for anybody that doesn't know what that means, it means don't show a fool an unfinished painting. So he says to me, don't tell me. So I was like that with Tamal Krishna Maharaj, everything that we did. There was always shows. To me, it was sweet. It was like, he was like him throwing petals at me. And I loved it. And it was so nice. So all of our activities, all the way through, it was like that. And his last day here on the planet, you at night time, I was the last person to see him doing his bed, doing things like that. I said, Maharaj, have a nice, safe journey. Hare Krishna. Then he says, pray for me that I'll come back because I want to be part of the TOVP. And I said, that is a blessing and I hope you do. And I always consider him as part of the TOVP. So this is the wonderful relationship with Tamal Krishna Maharaj. I have a million stories, but I'll leave it at that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Before we have to say, just wanted to mention that how he would come to your house and put on his shorts and do the yoga.
Yeah. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yes, now we request His Grace, Janmashtami Prabhu.
I'll sit over there. What's the time?
To say a few words.
Yeah.
Notification of
Tamal Krishna Maharaj ki jai. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was always well known for his incredible amount of bhakti shakti. Prabhupada would oftentimes engage him in Mission Impossible. For instance, the Juhu mess with Mr. and Mrs. Nair. No one could get through all that, but then he calls in Tamal Krishna Maharaj and got sound and a very quick solution. Same thing in Mayapur. There was a huge effort that went on and on and on to try and acquire land, but it didn't work. Even the Gaudiya Math temples were blocking our attempts to purchase. But then Tamal Krishna, Prabhupada sent Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and very short period of time, it came under ISKCON's control. That was the beginning of ISKCON Mayapur. There, another very dramatic episode in our ISKCON history and in Tamal Krishna Maharaj's journey was the Radha Damodar bus party. Now, before that, there was no traveling Sankirtan, but then it just took over America. He got in a little trouble with some of the temple presidents for that, but the point is that traveling Sankirtan began, and it actually went worldwide. I did it for the first 14 years, and I kept doing it after the 14 years. I'd take my summers and go to America and do traveling Sankirtan. We used to call it TSKP. So there was another very dramatic episode in my own life with him. In 1986, there was a major collapse in North America with 3 of the primary Diksha gurus having serious problems and falling down. And it was a big mess. And I strategized with my traveling Sankirtan party that one of the main problems that had taken place was that there was the temples had stopped being bases for strong sadhana preaching and book distribution. They'd become bases for business. So myself and a few other friends went on a major campaign to get book distribution going again. And it started working. This was in 87, 88. And then the North American BBT asked me, is everybody able to hear me? Or is everybody falling asleep? Can you hear all right? Loud enough? All right. So the North American BBT asked me to go to New York. There were 35 new devotees, brahmacharis, brahmacharinis, that they wanted me to train up in book distribution. Before starting that service, so I went to the VIH for the first time. What an experience. So when I got back to America, the Dham really revealed itself to me. I never had such blissful experience. All these senior devotees teaching, including Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he taught Brahma Samhita. Let's see, Giriraj Swami, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the verses that Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami engaged in these Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. What Rupa Goswami took from the Chaitanya Charitamrita and put in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sorry, and Satyarup Maharaj, Prabhupada appreciation, Burijana, Bhagavad Gita overview. It was just incredible. But what was the most amazing thing, when I got back to America, my own book distribution results increased 30-40%. It was like remarkable. And I just could see the potency of studying Srila Prabhupada's books and the Association of Senior Devotees. So then I went to Brooklyn after that experience. Hare Krishna, Hare Sari Prabhu. Hey. And Dandavat Pranams. Hare Sari Prabhu ki jai. So, I started training the devotees up to actually, the Brooklyn Temple was about ready to be closed by the city of New York for failure to pay its taxes, its water bill, and its sewer bills. So it was a real intense circumstance. Bhakta Rupa was the temple president. He was in complete anxiety. So I started training the book distributors up, and I kidnapped Jadharani, the original artist from Atlanta. She was actually a really good book distributor too. So she became the women's Sankirtan leader. I became the men's Sankirtan leader. We moved ahead. I got a bunch of vans. And so we ended up having a Christmas marathon with 35 devotees going out. No, it's actually 45 devotees going out. Some of the old timers went out too. And we did $45,000 selling straight books in 10 days just before Christmas. And it, saved the temple from closure, and everyone was in ecstasy. And then I went on to Vrindavan for, my VIH break. And then I came back in, met my wife, we got married. And then somehow or other I got into communication with Tamal Krishna Maharaj again. And he'd heard about what had happened in Brooklyn, and he invited me to come to Dallas. And he said, this was in a telephone communication, Jamasami Srila Prabhupada asked me to push book distribution all over the world, but I stopped it. There was some unusual things that were going on in North America in terms of book distribution in those days. A little bit too much Rajas. And so anyway, and then he said, I was waiting for someone like you to come along and get it started again. So I went there, and they had an apartment all picked out for us, and my newly married, so you got to have a bathtub because you'll have children. Babies need bathtubs. So anyway, we moved there, and gradually we built up as mainly senior devotees, that grahastas, and they were getting trained up on book distribution. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj was right behind it, pushing everybody to get involved. And then we had a Christmas marathon that had unbelievable results. There was a Gulf War going on at that time, and all these military personnel were coming through the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. And they were great candidates for getting Bhagavad Gita. They were off to war, they get shot full of bullets, whatever. We did huge. And shortly after the Christmas marathon, I came back in, the airport was closed because we had distributed so many books and the airport officials got disturbed. It was all traffic, the way we were distributing. So anyway, I went to Philadelphia, and then my wife was expecting, so I needed to go back. We were working in Philly airport for a few weeks. And then I came into New York, and Gunagraj Swami lassoed me. He really pulled me in and said, Jamaswami Prabhu, I got 35 new bhaktas in the Krishna Fest program. This was Dhanavir Goswami and Gunagraj Maharaj's program. We were training up new devotees, and we want you to train them up on book distribution. I said, but I got a commitment with Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And he just kept twisting my arm, and I'm like, okay, I surrender. And they told me, whatever you do, don't tell Tamal Krishna Maharaj about this. So I get back there, and I'm working the airport. I wasn't working the airport because it had been closed, but I was training devotees how to go out and do parking lots and different things like this. And then my wife went into labor, and there was going to be a big festival on Nrsimha Chaturdasi. There was going to be a Rath Yatra. So everyone was revving up for that. Prahladananda Swami was there. We used to do book distribution together. And I think I leaked the secret to him about what Gunagraj Swami and Dhanavir Gunagraj Swami told me not to tell anybody. Anyway, I was getting close to Nrsimha Chaturdasi, went into labor. And then in the middle of the labor, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, actually there was Prahladananda Swami, Rohini Sutta, he used to be the biggest book distributor in the world from Switzerland, and Pritu from Germany, but he was the GBC in Ireland. And so Tamal Krishna Maharaj's secretary invited me over. He said that Tamal Krishna Maharaj wants to speak with you. So I go over there, and the four of them are sitting in kind of a semicircle, and I'm on the one side. And then, okay, don't anybody faint, but I almost fainted. So for then the next hour and a half, Tamal Krishna Maharaj chastised me. It was quite heavy, and it was like he was very expert, seeing all my shortcomings, and so I went on for an hour and a half, and then finally it was over, and I got up and I left, and my brain had become completely numb, because it was so heavy. And I was thinking, because Rath Yatra was going to take place the next day, which was Nrsimha Chaturdasi, and I was thinking maybe what I should do is throw myself underneath one of the Rath cart wheels and finish myself off. I didn't know what to do. So then after about an hour and a half, Tamal Krishna Maharaj's secretary came again, and he said, Maharaj wants you to come and join us for lunch. And so I go over, and a big, huge table, the four Prabhupada disciples are sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and there's a intense conversation going on, but I couldn't understand any of it because my brain was still numb. So after the prasadam, I went back, and then my wife wanted to, she was hoping to have home birth, but we ended up going to the hospital because it wasn't working for her. It was just too much pain. So we're in the hospital after 48 hours of labor, cesarean section, and then like 3-4 days later, we bring our new son, Prahlad, back to the Dallas temple for darshan, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj is giving Bhagavatam class. And because basically what he was chastising me about, you can't leave here. We got a whole apartment for you, and really. So, and he was glorifying my wife for going out on book distribution 2.5 weeks prior to the birth. And I think he said a few good things about me, but I wasn't paying attention to that. So then we left, and then the Rath Yatra began. I participated in it. But, and then, he actually, then in a couple more Bhagavatam classes, he was glorifying our efforts. And then after a month, when my wife was ready to travel, I loaded the van and went to the East Coast. Because I was addicted to attending the VIC seminars, I went for the Kartik semester. That's what they call it. They had the Kartik semester and the Gaur Purnima semester. So I went and, during Srila Prabhupada's Tirobhav, I was standing behind Tamal Krishna Maharaj waiting to do Abhishek to Srila Prabhupada. They took Prabhupada out into the courtyard in Vrindavan temple. And so I'm standing behind him. He turns around and said, "Oh, Janmashtami, Prabhu." And I said to him, "Maharaj, I want to thank you from the core of my heart for so expertly chastising me." And he looks me in the eye very lovingly, and he said, "Janmashtami, Prabhu, I shouldn't have done that. I know that you had a mission. You have a mission." So actually, that was a big turning point in our relationship. We became very close friends, as Sadbhuj mentioned, in his relationship with Tamal Krishna Maharaj. There were so many loving exchanges. And then when he went to, get his PhD in England, and, he came back for the first GBC meeting. I think he missed about 2 or 3 years of GBC meetings because he was too busy working on his PhD. And, as soon as he comes and he sees me, comes and gives me a big bear hug. We start talking. And then, after the GBC meetings, I was heavily engaged because the Mayapur Institute had started. We were running like 35 courses from Saraswati Puja to Gaur Purnima. But he said, I really want to meet with you. So 3 days before he left Mayapur and after his body, he asked me to come to his quarters and we started a meeting. I knew what it was about because he had the responsibilities at the GBC meetings, this is my understanding, to oversee the development of the TOVP, but also establish Mayapur University, which was his main thing. And already, Pancharatna Prabhu and I had gotten 80 acres of land that were designated for Mayapur University. We had a master plan with buildings all laid out. And I knew what Tamal Krishna Maharaj wanted to speak about. He wanted me to be the on-the-ground man for him. But then Shivaram Swami and Brahmananda came into the room and the conversation ended. And we never had that discussion. It's kind of heartbreaking, but I knew what he had in mind. Could sense it. And it was just so heartbreaking for his departure. But he did so much service for Prabhupada. And he started me on a very intense anartha nivritti journey, by pointing out all my shortcomings. Tamal Krishna Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Now we request Grace Gugalpiti Dasi to say a few words. Disciple of His Holiness Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami from Israel. We have long association with Swami Maharaj.
I have to go to a meeting.
Okay, yes, that's why we are putting you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please come back for prayer.
Hare Krishna. feel uncomfortable speaking in front of.
Like this. You have to.
Yeah, two of them. Let's do the opposite. Hare Krishna, again. I said that I'm feeling uncomfortable to speak in front of Srila Prabhupada's disciples. I will just say maybe a few episodes, maybe even one, where actually I got initiated exactly 30 years ago. That was course. And we joined with my husband. I was 17. So he was my boyfriend. And devotees said that we should get married. And we just followed, got married. Then Srila Gurudev came for the first time to Israel in 1995. And our leaders, they were disciples of his, reinitiated. One was Srila Prabhupada disciple first, got second from Srila Gurudev. And then Mataji, she was initiated by Bhagavan Das. And she got reinitiated by Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So his first visit actually to Israel was 95. And we had a small temple. It's just Israel restarted again Krishna consciousness. And he came, and we were a few bhaktis, all got really, fell in love with him, decided that we all want to get that we all wanted to get initiated by Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And I was the only one who was married. And my husband, being a man, he didn't want this whole, like we all went to one way, he wanted to go another. And we had a GBC at that time, who is still the GBC for Israel, is Kavi Chandra Swami. So he got inspired by Kavi Chandra Swami, and he already got accepted by Kavi Chandra Swami at that point that I decided that I want to be Srila Gurudev's disciple. And then our authorities told us about this policy that he only accepts women if their husbands have the same guru. So I tried to put pressure on my husband. It didn't work. Anyway, then the authorities in our temple said, you have to write a letter to Srila Gurudev explaining your situation. It's like the court and the law. So, and you have to understand, I was 18 at that time. So we wrote a letter. I always wanted to be a lawyer. So I wrote him a letter saying, actually, and I still think it's a valid point, that how can you base an eternal relationship with your guru on the temporary relationship with your husband? And he accepted me, gave me disease. Yeah. And he was actually very sweet to me. Usually, there was one instance that the same way that Janmastami Prabhu explained, same source I got. He had Brother Charan Prabhu, I hope you all know him, Gurudev, our authorities, they all sat like this. I sat there. My crime was that I wanted to do book distribution and live in the temple. And he said that a married woman should live at home. I was 97 probably, 98, something like that. And he chastised me for 45 minutes. And I am very fortunate that I don't remember anything from that. Sure, it was very heavy because it was on my birthday. He didn't know that. And he was telling me, and it was 2 years that we lived, both myself and my husband, we live in the temple. I was distributing books for Srila Prabhupada's centennial, then the next year. And I was doing it as a service to please my guru. But of course, living in the temple, being influenced by all the brahmacharinis, I decided that it's better to be a brahmacharini. And he heard that. So that was the reason for the chastisement. And he said, everything you did is nothing, you know, I'm not pleased, I don't want this. And all I want you is just you go home. I was very heartbreaking. And then, you know, it's in front of all the authorities also. I was not alone there. The only person who was not there was my husband, fortunately. Anyway, so it was very heavy. And then actually, everybody left except for me and Srila Gurudev. And I didn't even cry. I mean, I thought it's pointless. And then he said, so how are you? He said, yeah, tough cookie. You know, we're Jewish. He's also Jewish. So he said, come. And he said, so how old are you? I said, Srila Gurudev, I'm 20 years old today. He said, okay, come. And then this story I didn't tell publicly. He just pushed me and gave me dust from his lotus feet. After that. So I guess all those years that I'm still here, 30 years, that was by that mercy. And actually after that, we developed a very close relationship. I did go home. We did leave the temple. We stayed at home. He came to us a few times, stayed in our place. He also told me to have kids because I was not really into that idea too. He said, no, you have to have 3. I said, Srila Gurudev, come on. He said, no, I'm telling you, this is what is good for you. And then my husband, myself, we said, okay. We did everything, and then my son was born. And when he was born, 99, there was no internet so much then. I called Srila Gurudev. You know, he said I should have a kid. So I called him, and I said, Srila Gurudev, I have a child, I have a boy. You have to name him. I want you to name him, but I have a name. He said, come on. I said, yeah, but you listen, what is the name? He said, no. I said, Tamal. He said, okay, call him Tamal Kripa. So that was the relationship with Srila Gurudev. Actually, we were supposed to go to see him in London when he stayed in Cambridge, but somehow it never worked out. Then we saw him, last time I saw him was in Hungary, Janmashtami year 2000 or 2001 maybe. And he said, 2001 probably, yeah. There was a big Janmashtami with Radhanath Swami, Purima, all of them there. Yeah, and then he told me, he said, because there was initiation. Oh, okay, I tell one more story and then that's it.
Yes, sure.
We had a preaching center actually. We separated from the temple. I mean, the temple at one point in Israel, it did not survive. We got few groups of individuals who were preaching. So we got a preaching center ourselves. We developed it. People started to join, and I had one girl, my friend. She got inspired by Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and he immediately accepted her. No ifs, no buts, nothing. Her husband got accepted by Kavichandra Swami. This policy didn't work anymore. Anyway, so she was supposed to get initiated in that Janmashtami celebration. There was no official yajna, and it was in the house of Shivaram Swami. And Srila Gurudev at that time, they lost his luggage. And if you see, there are pictures of him with a huge kurta. Shivaram Swami gave him the kurta. So it's a bit X large. And he's sitting so relaxed on the sofa, and many people were sitting there. That's when she got initiated. Few more people got initiated at that time. And why am I'm telling that? Because he said when he was calling people to come closer to get their names, he was introducing them. And he introduced my friend. And he said, you know, I accepted you because I wanted Jugala Priti to have a friend. And I was like, oh, that's very sweet. So, and she got initiated. And after many years, I remember I was thinking, if I was getting initiated because somebody needed a friend, that would be very strange. So I asked her, she's still practicing devotee, still my friend,
What's her name?
Aradhana Devidasi. And I asked her, how did you like that? Because that's the only thing he said about you. And she said, I loved it. So I said, probably Paramatma. Yeah, and we're still friends. So he told me that we will meet because he knew we were supposed to come to Cambridge, but it didn't work out. So he said, okay, next time we meet in Israel. And it didn't work out. So I'm actually I'm still digesting the information that he actually is not with us. It's already 24 years. It's going slow into this, but I am very, very fortunate to have his mercy, and you are very fortunate. You still can get his mercy, and you can hear from those who knew him personally. He was a very special personality and very close to Srila Prabhupada. So I feel very humbled to be his disciple, still trying to be something that he would be happy and happy that he accepted me despite his policies. Jai. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Sorry.
Now we request His Grace Shankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhuji to enlighten us about Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami. Don't forget the yes. Please.
মাইক আছে
না সেটাই তো এটা তালা দিয়ে চলে গেছে একটু কাছে এসে বলবেন কি এগিয়ে
ঠিক আছে নমঃ বিষ্ণুপাদায় কৃষ্ণপৃষ্ঠায় ভূতলে শ্রীমতে ভক্তিবেদান্ত স্বামী ইতি নামিনে নমস্তে সরস্বতী দেবে গৌরবাণী প্রচারিণে নির্বিশেষ শূন্যবাদী পাশ্চাত্য দেশোত্তারিণে শ্রীকৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ শ্রী অদ্বৈত গদাধর শিবাসাদি গৌর ভক্তবৃন্দ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ ভগবত প্রভু Radha Mohan Prabhu and Harichandan Prabhu. They are the organizer of this program for a long time, and they are very intimate disciple of Srila Tamal Krishna Maharaj. However, so we are assembled here to glorify my beloved Guru Maharaj, my beloved Godbrother Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So Prabhupada, when he arrived in Calcutta in 1970, that time 5 or 6 foreign devotees were there. And among them Jayapataka was there, Kirtananda was there, and maybe Hamsadut was there, and Bhanu Swami was there. But next, 1971, Tamal Krishna Maharaj came Calcutta, and he was a Grihastha that time. I have seen him Grihastha, yes. His wife was Madhuri, no? Madhuri Devidasi. She was a very exalted devotee, Madhuri Devidasi, Maharaj's wife. And I think Maharaj took sannyas in 1972.
Yes.
Yes. Then Maharaj took sannyas from Srila Prabhupada 1972, and he was a few months in Calcutta temple president. But the first temple president was Jayapataka Maharaj. Then when Maharaj, my Guru Maharaj says, Jayapataka, you go to Mayapur and manage it and develop it. Then Tamal Krishna Maharaj took the church. Then I met him very nicely. Maharaj, Tamal Krishna Maharaj was the private secretary of my Guru Maharaj. And you know the Calcutta temple, 3C Albert Road, very small temple. And that is rented house. And Maharaj, after Prasadam, Maharaj is taking rest. Then about 4 o'clock or evening time, Maharaj call every day, calling him and giving the dictation to Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Kindly send this letter to here and there. And every day he used to type 20, 15 letters. And Maharaj is signing. Then once upon a time, it was in 1972 in Calcutta temple, Maharaj was very sick and he has a throwing pain on the gum. Then Prabhupada called me in his room, do you know any good dentist? Yes, Maharaj, I know one dentist. So can you take Tamal? Yes, I can take Tamal. But at time we are such crucial situation regarding financial, we have no opulence, no money, we have no car, no AC, and very simple prasad, one or two sabjis. And I have seen personally in my eyes that Madri Devi, every day and some other Mataji, Narayani Mataji, Madri, Palika, they and Kaushala, they used to go to the Jogu Bazaar market, and Prabhupada says, no, we go on foot and bring the all vegetables by rickshaw. So they used to do that. However, then Maharaj was very sick and Prabhupada called me and do you know any dentist? Oh, yeah, I know dentist, then you can take Tamal. So that time, Albert Road was very, isolated place. Night time nobody wants to come there. Now it is very popular. That one taxiwala, I told him I will go to North Calcutta. So first he does not agree. Then I requested him, I will give so much money, please call. One devotee is very sick. So we went, both Tamal Krishna Maharaj and myself, one dentist. So it was evening time, there are so many patients. So I requested the dental surgeon, he is my good friend. So kindly give him nice, what is your nice suggestion, nice, treatment. So he called and he saw, oh, he is a foreigner. And he was astonished to see that one foreigner wearing saffron cloth, shaving head, so nice looking, Then Maharaj, then the doctor says that he has some infection on the gum and also some, requirement extraction. Then it will take some time. I'm giving injection. Okay, no problem, you can do it, whatever. So about 2 hours in our doctor's chamber. Then after extraction, we came back to Calcutta. That was 9 o'clock, 9:30. The Prabhupada was walking and chanting on the baranda. Then we knocked. Then Prabhupada, one foreigner came. I don't know what's his name. Then he opened the door. Then first he saw Tamal. Oh, you are all right? Yes, Maharaj, I am all right now. The extraction has been done. And then Prabhupada says, don't take hot anything today. And same thing doctor says, that don't use anything hot, only cold. So Prabhupada was very pleased and he blessed me. Yes, you have done a very good service for Tamal. That is one incident, that is one 1972. And whenever he comes here, he called me and he always liked my wife's prasadam, Shachimata's prasadam. So every year during GBC meeting, so I used to bring prasadam for 2 or 3 persons with a tiffin carrier from Swarupganj to Maharaj guest house every year. And Maharaj very so much because he likes Suchimata, because Suchimata is a very good cook for Srila Prabhupada, and he likes our prasadam. So every year I used to bring prasadam for him and he was very happy. And once upon a time, once my birthday, he presented me one silver pain. Still that pain existing with me in his room. And when my daughter, I invited him for grain ceremony. So Maharaj says I could not go because you can bring your daughter here in my room and I will make arrangement everything. And accordingly we have done. So Maharaj feed gains prasadam to my younger daughter and blessed her. And also, he wants to know where Srila Bhakti Siddhanta place in Ultadanga Road. Only I know that place. So one day Maharaj hired a car, and myself and Tamal Krishna Maharaj, first we want to see that number 1 Ultadanga Road, now ISKCON occupied that property and they have a very nice temple. But that time there is a rented house, somebody was living there. So from outside I point out, Maharaj, this is the place where Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur started the Gaudiya Math in 1922. But now this place is in the hand of some other people, rented house. However, so by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and by the mercy of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, our Calcutta temple arranged that and they occupied the land and we have a very nice temple over there. And also he went the birthplace where Prabhupada was born. Only myself and Tamal Krishna, no one was there. So it is a good fortune for me that he is not with us, but he will be very happy if you would be there, because now we got the land of birthplace, we got the land of Bhakti Siddhanta's place where the first meeting in 1922. And this is happened in my life with Tamal Krishna. And also last day I know that he called all his god brothers, god sister. Which year that year? He met an accident? 2002. March, he called all of us. Even my wife Suchimata came, myself came, Jananivas Prabhu came, Panchajangari Prabhu came, and all god brothers. They have a very nice kirtan. Up to he started the kirtan at 6 o'clock and it continued about 9:30. After that, he distributed prasad, everyone, we enjoyed nice, sumptuous prasadam was there. Then we could not expect it. The next day, he is going back to America. That is in the month of March. So they hired a taxi and Maharaj was there, Agavit was there and some foreigners were there. Then they made an accident, a major accident at, where is that? Fulia. And that is under the jurisdiction of Nodia. And that is the birthplace of Kittibaz Oja, no? That is the birthplace of Kittibaz Oja, who wrote the Ramayana. And in that same area, he had a big collision with a big tree. And a spot dead, Maharaj was. And other two devotees also, no? Other two devotees also, they lost their life. 3 people lost in that accident, and Agavut Prabhu was in the same car. He had a major accident, but somehow or other he saved his life. So next day when we heard that Tamal Krishna left his body and he was in Ranaghat hospital, is it not? Ranaghat hospital. So immediately I went there, Ranaghat hospital, and it is a very, very sad news for us that Maharaj left his body. And also 2 other his disciples. Then after that, 1-2 days after, the dead body came here, no? Same day? No. Oh, the dead body we brought evening. I was there in the car. So came here and dead body and they samadhi here. So actually it does not matter because when we are born, death is certain. Nobody know when he is going to leave the body in which way. But he was a pure devotee and all the good qualities. Titikshava karunika srida sarvodehinam ajata sattabha santa sadhava sadhu bhushanam. The symptom of a sadhu, that is tolerant, merciful, friendly to all living entities, and all his characteristics are sublime, pure character. So he is that type of Mahatma, Mahapurush, great soul, who served Srila Prabhupada, and he was very dear to Srila Prabhupada, Tamal and Gopal. Gopal means Gopal Krishna, and Tamal means Tamal Krishna. Maharaj always calls it Tamal, not Tamal Krishna, and Gopal means Gopal Krishna. And 1977, when I got one letter from Srila Prabhupada in 1977, that was last letter from Juhu, that he told me, he instructed me, requested me that you must do something in Taliganj. I have a great desire to keep a memorial over there, and that is the last letter. And he says in that letter, I am very sick, I am going to Vrindavan. So if you want anything you want to correspond with me, so you can do in Vrindavan. So it was the letter came in 1977, 4th May. So I was very shocked and upset that Maharaj was very sick. However, so I visited Vrindavan. When I came back again, then I saw that 2 personal servants, one is Bhakti Charu Maharaj and one is Tamal Krishna Maharaj, they are taking care of Srila Prabhupada. At the last moment, when he was very sick. So it is according to scriptures, those who are serving their Guru Maharaj, when they are very sick, last time, like Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Bhakti Charu Maharaj, they are not here. They are really very exalted personalities. Not only that, they are very good disciple. They are very, prominent disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and they work very hard. That first bus, Damodar, what is called Damodar? Radha Damodar bus, that Tamal Krishna Maharaj started preaching bus in China, no? First, America. Then Radha Damodar bus, now we are seeing there are bus preaching all over India, all over the world, and that idea first came by Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And not only that, he did a lot of things for Srila Prabhupada. And so on this auspicious day, it is our duty to all the disciples and his followers and well-wishers that we should glorify on the appearance day and also disappearance day. So thank you very much to Agavit Prabhu, Harichandan Prabhu and Radha Madhav Prabhu who has organized, Radha Mohan Prabhu who has organized, and we pray to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, always he should bless on me because he is my very beloved godbrother. I will never forget his presence in Mayapur and in Calcutta and other places. Thank you very much for giving me a chance to speak something about Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Maybe someone can speak loudly what he's saying.
Maybe go let him go after this.
Okay.
I just messaged a few people.
Okay,
Bring the microphone.
sure. So now we request His Grace Shikhimayati Prabhu to speak a few words.
I'll stand up if I need to.
Okay.
Well, let's Marcus Maharaj keep.
Yeah.
We're waiting to hopefully someone will bring a microphone. Then you can hear from Hari Sari better. All right,
Yes.
so some messages have been sent out. Someone just has to unlock the cabinet.
Just
I want to speak about probably two things about Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Of course, his preaching and his quality of cooperation, which requires humility. So, of course, all of us here being Prabhupada disciples, at that time, Prabhupada, the mood was, we were like an army. Of course, we didn't have any country, so we're more like a revolution. And I know personally, I felt as though that we could actually accomplish these goals that Prabhupada had set out, which was not just to distribute books and make devotees, but to change the world by changing leaders who will become Krishna conscious and manage this world so that everyone can be Krishna conscious and this world will become Vaikuntha. So if you ever were in Prabhupada's presence, you felt like that. You could see the gravity he had like that. He wasn't just chanting Hare Krishna to be happy. He was on a mission. And of course, for that mission, that requires many other generals to help him. And Krishna sent these people to help, such as Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and so many others, different ones in different places of the world that accomplished extraordinary things. And what's amazing is the fact that these were devotees that were in their 20s. Maybe been devotee 1 or 2 years. Yet they were operating like Mahabhagavats. You don't see that so much nowadays in this camp. People who come and they're already Mahabhagavat. Doing extraordinary services and taking an extraordinary risk and succeeding. I'm going to highlight some things that occurred after Prabhupada left. Because when Prabhupada was here, he was the force. He's still the force. But his physical presence kept everyone aligned. So with Prabhupada leaving, naturally we all didn't like each other. We're from different cultures. So the trust wasn't there. And you don't tell me what to do. No, who do you think you are? Nobody to unite us. And Tamal Krishna and others had to be there to hold the movement together and keep it going in that atmosphere. Many people went away. The movement continued on. But to highlight specifically, one point is, of course, he became one of the Diksha gurus. And as a result, he had a very big zone, very important zone. Chicago, Texas, big temples, big book distribution, big sannyasis, very powerful. You could almost say he was part of the most powerful zone in ISKCON at that time. More than Kirtananda even. Yet, some things occurred. GBC had meeting. And they told him, we're taking your zone away. And you are going to China. And I was in Chicago at that time in his zone. And when he came back, I had heard this had happened and I was shocked. He's doing such big service. How are they going to just take all this away from him like that? And I went to his room and I said, how could you let them do this to you? Because he could have just said, no, you don't tell me what to do. What are they going to do? He could turn all those devotees against GBC, kick them out. And he looked at me and he said, with great sincerity, they are my God brothers and I must cooperate. And that still sticks with me, because if it was me, I wouldn't allow that to happen. I'm doing big service. He gave it all up for nothing. But now we know that was Krishna's arrangement, because at that time, the US and China had made an arrangement where they're going to open up their economies. And China was allowing even the cultural things to come into China. So it was perfect timing. That was Krishna's arrangement. If he didn't accept that, then he would have missed that timing for going to China. And he went there, he doesn't speak the language. How are you going to preach? I'm going to Vietnam now. It's like, that's the greatest difficulty. I say hello to people. They don't even know what hello is. How do you preach to them? The government won't let you sell books. You can't do Harinam. How do you preach? How do you establish it? So I think about this, and I can only imagine him at that time with the devotees he had. And he did it. We see the Chinese devotees here. Krishna consciousness is established in China. It doesn't matter if ISKCON goes away. It's established. They have the books. It'll go on. And that's extraordinary accomplishment that he did. So one other story, a little humorous, I'll tell, so we won't leave it on such a heavy note. Great faith in the holy name of Krishna and his preaching. When he was in Fiji, he also made a temple there in Fiji. And it just so happened he built it in a very wealthy neighborhood next to a gentleman who was a wealthy lawyer. And of course, you know, we have our morning program, right? 4:30. Hare Krishna, Hare, right? This gentleman was incensed. What is this? 4 o'clock in the morning, this singing. He's an Indian gentleman, Hindu. He didn't like it. He tried everything in his power to get the devotees kicked out of that property. Big battle with Tamal Krishna Maharaj. At one point, his son went, who was also a lawyer, went to talk to Tamal Krishna Maharaj in a challenging way. He's going to, you know, I'm going to show these people. And of course, him and Tamal Krishna have been going back and forth and so many points and this and that. And I think he was saying ultimately how you're not even Hindu, you're just from America. What is this? Finally, Tamal Krishna Maharaj challenged him. He said, well, I want you to do this for 30 days. The next 30 days, I want you to come every morning and chant 16 rounds of japa in this temple room. And if you don't see a change in yourself, I will sell this temple and leave. The devotee says, I got him now. After 30 days, he became his disciple. This is the power of Tamal Krishna Maharaj. That devotee is the temple president in Dallas, Texas, now for many years. Such great faith in the holy name and such an extraordinary preacher. One last little thing, even the book distribution, when he joined, devotees used to get jobs because we couldn't sell enough magazines and books to support the temple. So Prabhupada had everybody to get jobs. He figured out how to do Harinam and sell Back to Guided magazines so no one had to get jobs. And later, he also facilitated us to the point where we could sell so many books. Maybe there's 3,000 devotees back then, but they were selling, as ISKCON as a whole, 1 million magazines per month. That's not even the other books. So many big services which were needed at the time, and as a result, ISKCON is growing and flourishing as it is. So we are in debt to His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and we thank him for his service, and we pray for his mercy that he will empower us to do something for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON. Tamal Krishna Maharaj ki.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We are waiting for the microphone to come.
You want to try?
Maybe
Okay.
Solomon should speak, and then we can have Hadishori, His Grace Hadishori Prabhu.
You got to scream.
What do you suggest?
Let me see if I get any replies. I sent out 5 messages to people, and
Let's take His Grace. Yes, sir, they're bringing it.
let me check one more. Okay, I got them in.
तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimate Tamal Krishna Goswami Namine Nama Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Rovani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatya Desha Tharine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki. So I had a very good fortune to have personal and close association and serve Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj for many years. And that happened only not because of my any good qualification or such, but it was because due to my being with Srila Bhakti Swami Guru Maharaj was my spiritual master, and I was his personal servant and secretary for many years. So whenever Goswami Maharaj came to India and especially stayed in Calcutta and in Mayapur.
Prabhu is, Parishwari Prabhu is saying if you can speak a little loudly.
Oh.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Because they're used to speak on microphone. So I had a very good fortune to have personal association and served Srila Goswami Maharaj for many years through the media of my Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Swami Guru Maharaj. And I was this person, my Guru Maharaj's personal servant and secretary for many years. And whenever Goswami Maharaj came to Mayapur or Calcutta, especially in this area, he always stayed with Guru Maharaj. And I think most of you know how the relationship was there between two of them, two great personalities. They were like one soul and two bodies. And even I used to consider him not only as senior god brother, also as his instructing spiritual master, Siksha Guru. And he used to respect him like that. I never saw him arguing with Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Goswami Maharaj sometimes he was also very respectful and very affectionate to Guru Maharaj, but he could say something with affirmation or things like that, but Guru Maharaj was very humble in front of him, very humble. So whenever Goswami Maharaj came, either he would stay with him in the same room or the rooms next to each other. And I was there to take care of their needs. And I remember, and I had, apart from that, and once I was introduced to Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he became very, very kind and very very personal with me. He used to treat me as one of his disciples. And I can give you one incident about that. That generally, I don't know whether he changed afterwards, but he had one principle that he wouldn't give his remnants to anybody else other than his own disciples. But I had that good fortune because he used to say, I cannot take too many karmas. That is what he used to. But I don't know, he might have changed that, but that's what I knew at least. So when Guru Maharaj, so I had also, and then when I became very I had access to him, and I was, even when Guru Maharaj wasn't there, and he used to come, and he used to call me every now and then for various services. Like one thing was, I was this, he had this last room on the second floor of Conch building, where he used to live when he was in Mayapur, whenever he used to come into Mayapur. So I was the personal caretaker of that room. Any maintenance problem, anything. He would leave the whole list of things when he would leave, and then I had to take care of all those different things. Apart from that, I had two other very, very significant role, very, very significant service he had given me. Of course, that just came up. At least one of them which was his first deity installation in Hong Kong, the first deities in China land. And I was not the first choice, of course. I was the third choice. First choice was Atma Tattva Prabhu, who was a very prominent Brahmin in ISKCON realm. He's very prominent and very experienced and qualified, highly qualified, and he trained many qualified Brahmins. He was supposed to go to install the deities, their Gaunitai deities, but then he got very sick, bedridden, completely bedridden, and he couldn't go. And then he was Atma Tattva Prabhu arranged one of his students to go and do the service. But then he was from South America, and he had his visa problem, and because of that he couldn't make it. Then Maharaj had there was only like 10 days time, and the priest was not available. Everything else was arranged, and it's a big preparation. Many government officials were invited, and huge big program. First deity installation in China land, and that was in Hong Kong that time. That very deity installation took place in Hong Kong. And somebody told Goswami Maharaj that you could talk to Charu me. And he said, I know him he's one of my servants in Mayapur. So yes, I will definitely. So he called me, and he told me, and I said, Maharaj, I am like a management person. I do the management, and I do literary work. I was in BBT, and I used to assist my Guru Maharaj in Bengali translation and editing and proofreading. So I said, I am just a kind of literary person and management, and I do some puja here and there, but not on regular basis. But Maharaj said, no, they said that you know a lot of stuff and this and that. And I have that. That is another incident I'm coming up there. That was the earlier incident, or Leela, Maharaj's mercy upon me. But I am just brought it up, this China land thing, because it's very, very significant even in what to talk about. In ISKCON history, for me it is like not even dream, it is just, I never thought about it, but it happened. So anyway, it was Goswami Maharaj's order, and I had to do it. I had no choice. Oh, this is because what had happened, I'm sorry, I missed one point. I was in Vrindavan at that time, particular time, 1987. And I just came to visit Mayapur. And I was doing puja. That is another incident why I went there for puja service. So he came to know I'm doing puja, a lot of stuff. And when he contacted the head pujari of Vrindavan, he mentioned about me, that one of our pujaris is there, and you can talk to him. And he mentioned my name, and that's how Goswami Maharaj got to know that I knew some puja, and I could do it. And the head pujari of Vrindavan, he told him that. So whatever is the whole big thing, and is long ago, more than 30 years ago, so it's kind of I'm missing here and there. So anyway, the person who was supposed to go, the second choice, he trained me in 7 days. The whole thing, puja and deity installation and whole thing from Hari Bhakti Vilas, that he learned from Atma Tattva Prabhu, and what he was going to do in China, he taught me, and 7 days, day and night, I was just studying. And finally, I was prepared. And then I just flew. I didn't have anything. I didn't have except, so they arranged everything, and I flew. And it was 3 days program, big program. Many government officials came, and it's a huge program. And in a big apartment, not one apartment, 2, 3, 4 apartments, but it's a huge program. For then, in China land, that was the first big program, I think. festival. So we had the program, and Goswami Maharaj was very pleased. He was very happy the way I did. I was very confident. He said, "You did perfectly, and there's nothing to." And of course, once I started, I got the motion. I was doing everything fine. But in the beginning, I was very nervous. So that was one thing. And Goswami Maharaj also, he gave me another service that was earlier, prior to that, in 84 or 83, something like that. He came to Mayapur to observe Chaturmasya. And at that time, he decided to write something, some book, but he didn't know what he was going to write. But he was working on something. So every day, it was rainy season, it was raining heavily, like June, July, August, like that. And July and August, most probably. And every day after morning prasad, breakfast, he used to give me a whole, like list of questionnaires and then about philosophy. And he used to send me to different Gaudiya mats to different Prabhupada's God brothers, because many of them, it was only like 5-6 years from Prabhupada's departure. So many Prabhupada's God brothers were on the planet. And Goswami Maharaj, he wanted all these answers of this philosophy, very, very intricate aspects of philosophical, conclusions. And he knew that Prabhupada's disciples would know only these answers, and Prabhupada's God brothers. So every day I used to go get the answer and come back in the evening. It was like more than a month it went on. Every day, every single day. I used to go to different Gaudiya mats and meet all different Prabhupada's God brothers and give all those questions. And they used to answer. I used to take the note and then come back in the evening and give all the, answers in English to Goswami Maharaj. And then I asked him that, Maharaj, what are you writing? What is the subject matter? See, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just carving a log, and I don't know what shape it's going to take. That's all he answered. And then in a year or so, this Jagannath Priya Natakam was written, and it was published, or maybe 2 years, whatever. So that was one very important service, and this it is installation. And there are many other things, and which is regarding this maintenance is room and all that, but I cannot go into detail because it will take long time. It is not 1 year, it's many years of service. And I was, so this way Goswami Maharaj was very affectionate to me. He used to, as I told you, I used to treat me like one of his disciples. He used to chastise me very badly, and he was very, very, used to even cut joke with me. Sometimes I used to, him and Guru Maharaj were discussing something, I just had to come something to Guru Maharaj to sign some check or something, and he used to laugh at me, and Goswami Maharaj said, "This guy is so sneaky," and maybe they are taking breakfast or something like that. And so he was very, very sweet and very heavy, and he was very appreciative. And then he was various ways he like kind of treated me as his pet one. And I enjoyed his association a lot. And there's so many different leelas. One thing, I think many good, wonderful leelas between him and Guru Maharaj. There are so many of them. But one leela I'll just mention because of the shortage of time. That one time I was also in charge of Jagannath temple in one of the management service I had in Mayapur. Also I was taking care of Jagannath temple in Rajapur. And whenever Goswami Maharaj is there, he used to come to Jagannath temple quite a few times during his stay. Because he used to love that. He said, "This is the best prasad I have taken in Bengali prasad, in India." And he used to come to Mayapur, Rajapur, Jagannath temple. And whenever Guru Maharaj was here, two of them would come together. And one time two of them came, and I used to serve them. So I was serving, and they were taking prasad, and they are talking many things. And Goswami Maharaj was insisting Guru Maharaj to go somewhere to attend some program with him, and Guru Maharaj was trying to escape because he had some other programs to attend. So he said, Maharaj, I can't really do it, please. I always, I try not to escape. Whenever you said something, I do, but this time I really have to go that place. So no, Krishna wants you to go. And then Guru Maharaj, he was very humor, and he started laughing and said, I know Krishna wants me to go. Tamal Krishna wants me to go. So like that, and Maharaj started laughing. So he said, then you must go. So like that, they had very intimate and very sweet relationship and reciprocation, which I personally witnessed. And these way had very good good fortune, good opportunities to serve His Divine Grace, Srila Goswami Maharaj, in many ways for many years. Unfortunately, when it happened in Mayapur during his departure, I wasn't here, I was in America. And I couldn't, of course, in one way it was good because I didn't have to see that. I was completely broken. I practically cried for many, many weeks. And more than me, I saw my Guru Maharaj crying for him for at least 1 year or so. Every time I saw him, I was in America, I used to come there, I met him. And I saw him, his eyes were tearful every time. I thought, he might have developed some kind of some sickness is there. And I asked him that, whether he had something problem with the eyes. He said no, and he just avoided it, he didn't want to mention. But then I realized it was because of him. And my Guru Maharaj used to hold many, lot of seminars. Every year, at least no less than 8 to 10 seminars on different, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ramayana, Mahabharata. But those 2 years, I think 6 or 4, 2004, Maharaj's departure? 2002. Yeah. So 2 years at least, he went around, only his seminars was on Srila Goswami Maharaj. He didn't speak anything on anything else, only on Goswami Maharaj. Anywhere he went. And he was always tearful, he feels so sickly, And since then, he was for many years, I've seen that, he couldn't motivate himself in many ways. He did his service, he did his, responsibilities, but he was kind of very much, very much indifferent. And then at one point, he prayed to Guru, and one Vyasa Puja, he prayed to Prabhupada in his offerings that if Prabhupada could take him back to his lotus feet. And not immediately, but in a few years, he also left. So this is very painful, his departure. Okay. So I'll take my, offering my humble obeisance and dust of his lotus feet of his Divine Grace Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. I pray for his mercy so that I can maintain my spiritual life nicely and please him each every way through my actions and devotion. Jai Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki.
Now we request His Grace to say a few words in glorification of His Holiness, Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami. You can sit here or, sorry.
You can say, you just speak for
Oh, okay. I have to be here.
Yeah.
Because I have to hear.
Okay.
To be your microphone.
I'll be your microphone.
Nanchi kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhu bevacha patitanam vaisa. So you have to kindly excuse me. It's very difficult for me to put two sentences together.
Please forgive. You would say? Please say, bro.
No.
Okay. Please forgive me for speaking softly. I have like little difficulties.
For speaking two sentences.
Yeah, for speaking 2 sentences. Help me.
He's going to have a difficult time speaking because of his condition. So he said to please forgive him. Go ahead.
Okay. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was an exceptional devotee.
Tamal Krishna Maharaj was an exceptional devotee
Right from the very beginning,
right from the very beginning.
he joined in 1967, I think it was.
He joined in 1967, sometime around that time.
He immediately made a reputation for himself.
He immediately made a reputation for himself.
Very rigid preaching,
Very rigid preacher,
very active,
very reactive,
very intelligent as far
and very intelligent
as dealing with money or manpower.
as far as dealing with money or manpower.
In 69,
In 69,
we see that Prabhupada sent him to Europe,
Srila Prabhupada sent him to Europe in 1969.
and he had him working, because at that time there was only a few devotees,
Because at that time, there's only a few devotees.
but the London Soho Street Temple had been activated,
In London, Soho Street had been activated,
and they were trying to do something in France and a couple of other countries.
they were trying to do some things in France and other European countries,
But it was very scattered.
but it's very scattered.
So Prabhupada wrote to Tamal Krishna Maharaj,
So Srila Prabhupada wrote to Tamal Krishna Maharaj,
you go to Europe and organize nicely.
so you go to Europe and organize everything nicely.
So that was a year before the GBC were formed.
That was the year before they even made a GBC. No GBC at that time.
GBC reform.
No GBC.
So he was like a super guru, super GBC.
So he was kind of a super GBC, the first GBC, by himself.
And throughout his life,
And throughout his life,
whatever he did,
whatever he did
made a very solid impact.
had very solid impact.
He had so much determination.
He had great determination.
So I'm not going to get into all of this stuff.
He won't go into all the different things, but
Tamal Krishna Maharaj was, let's say, very rigid,
Tamal Krishna Maharaj was very rigid,
which is another way of saying sometimes too much.
which is another way of saying he's a little too heavy.
He was amongst the first devotees to come to India.
He was among the first devotees to come to India.
Prabhupada made him the GBC for India.
Prabhupada made him the GBC for India.
And he was overseeing the
Or Mumbai and those places.
what's I forget the word.
Huh?
The first temple,
Hyderabad?
Juhu.
Juhu, yeah. Prabhupada had him overseeing the Juhu temple, which was being built at that time.
And he also, Tamal Krishna Maharaj was instrumental in us getting a place in Mayapur.
And Tamal Krishna Maharaj was very instrumental in getting Sridham Mayapur.
His name is on the trustee.
His name is on the trustees, on the deed even.
Yeah. So Prabhupada was extremely pleased with that.
So Srila Prabhupada was extremely pleased with that service.
But after 3 or 4 years,
But after 3 or 4 years,
Tamal Krishna Maharaj was feeling a bit fatigued
Tamal Krishna Maharaj was feeling a bit fatigued
because of the court cases going on.
because there are so many court cases going on in India and America. Anyway, a lot of legal problems.
Yes. But, well, I'm talking specifically about that.
Oh, and legal problems in Mayapur, in India.
No,
Where?
specifically about Tamal.
Oh, about Tamal.
Yeah. I'll come to the book distribution. And,
Okay, Tamal Krishna Maharaj had a lot of legal problems, I'm saying?
yes.
Legal problems, okay.
There was one point at which he got overwhelmed a little bit by it.
At one point, he got overwhelmed by it.
He went to see Srila Prabhupada.
He went to see Srila Prabhupada,
He wanted to relocate.
and he wanted to relocate.
And Prabhupada initially didn't want him to.
Srila Prabhupada did not initially want him to.
But he went to see Prabhupada,
He went to see Prabhupada,
and he told him, I can quote more statutes from the Bombay municipality than I can Bhagavad Gita.
he said, I can quote more statutes from Bombay municipality than I can quote scripture.
So Prabhupada, I'm cutting this short, but Prabhupada basically accepted his need.
So Prabhupada accepted that and allowed him to leave.
And he wanted to, so Maharaj came back to America.
So Tamal Krishna Maharaj came back to America.
Then he set up, what was at that time, a revolutionary form of Sankirtan.
And he set up that time, which was a revolutionary form of Sankirtan.
When he first went back, he hitched up again with Vishnu Jan Swami.
He went back and he hooked up again with his friend Vishnu Jan Swami.
Vishnu Jan Maharaj had a bus
Vishnu Jan Maharaj had a bus
and some deities.
and
Radha
deities,
Damodar.
Radha Damodar.
And Prabhupada had written to Vishnu Jan Maharaj
Prabhupada had written to Vishnu Jan Maharaj.
that you should try and distribute as many books as possible.
See, you should try to distribute as many books as possible.
That's important.
That is important.
They were having programs,
They were having programs.
college,
Yeah, the colleges and on the streets, they were doing deity worship and Harinam.
yeah. So when Tamal Krishna Maharaj got involved,
So when Tamal Krishna Maharaj got involved,
he refocused the energy of the whole,
he refocused all the energy.
and they put all that they had into book distribution.
He put everything they had into book distribution.
Within about a year,
Within about a year,
he had $50,000 a month being sent to the BBT.
he was sending $50,000 a month to the BBT in 1975 money, which is probably 200,000 now, maybe 300 a month.
More than that.
More than that even, yeah.
So
5 lakhs dollars.
they had some various ways and means,
They have various ways and means,
which sometimes didn't include the local temples.
which sometimes didn't include the local temples.
There was, by that time, about 40 temples.
At that time, we had about 40 temples
And the Radha Damodar parties,
and Radha Damodar parties.
there was 5 or 6 of them,
5 or 6 Radha Damodar parties.
each one with 100 brahmacharis.
And each party had about 100 brahmacharis.
They had 5 or 6 vehicles,
5 or 6 vehicles
and then these Greyhound buses,
and Greyhound buses,
which they converted into temples.
which they had converted to traveling temples.
So in that way, as his ability, as his book distribution grew,
And that way, book distribution increased.
no, is all right. We'll do that.
Live off of that one. I'm sorry.
Anyway, needless to say, when they were traveling around the country,
So when they were traveling around the country,
there'd always be like 1 or 2, 3.
they were stealing brahmacharis. Just say it. They were stealing.
Some householders also.
So as they're traveling around the country, they would
Well, I'm going to say that.
visit the different temples with the.
Yeah, so they would come for the Sunday feast.
They would come for the Sunday feast
They would pick out the likely candidates,
and pick out all the likely people who would become devotees
and they would preach to them so strongly
and preach them very strongly.
that many scores of them joined up because Tamal Krishna Maharaj.
And many of those people
So
joined
powerful.
because of Tamal Krishna Maharaj's preaching.
He was a very powerful.
He's a very powerful preacher.
But as we see, people with power
As we say, people with power
They run into trouble sometimes
They run into trouble sometimes
because they overdo it.
because they overdo it.
And by the end of, let's see, 75,
75, yeah, that was it.
there'd been some major discussions
By the end of 1975, there were major discussions
about the grihastas and the sannyasis.
about grihastras and sannyasis.
That's what it came down to.
That's what it came down to.
There was lots of other smaller infringements.
And all the little small inferences and things that were occurring.
So at one point, Tamal Krishna Maharaj flew from America to Vrindavan.
So at one point, Tamal Krishna Maharaj flew from America to Vrindavan.
And immediately, when he arrived, he immediately went to Prabhupada's quarters.
And when he arrived, he immediately went to Prabhupada's quarters.
And he complained
And he complained.
that we're having so many difficulties from the grihastas.
So we're having so many difficulty from the grihastras.
And this movement is one of renunciation.
See, this movement is a movement of renunciation.
So they were preaching that all the grihastas should get jobs.
They were preaching that all the grihastras should get jobs.
If they were holding any significant position in the temple,
If they're holding any significant position in the temple,
they could be given a small,
stipend, huh?
yeah.
If they had any significant position in the temple, they could be given a small stipend, a little bit of money.
But all the rest of the devotees,
But all the rest of the grihastras,
they should be told to get their own apartments.
they should go get jobs and get their own place.
It was radical for that.
Very radical at that time.
So things soured.
Say it again.
Things soured.
So things soured.
And by it came to the 76
By 1976,
Gopurnima,
Gopurnima,
there was a full-on, openly
there's a full-on
open display of
discussion about
Yeah.
this, huh?
heavy discussions, very strong
Very strong
opinions on
opinions
either side.
on both sides of this subject.
So Tamal Krishna Maharaj was made the first chairman of the GBC.
So Tamal Krishna Maharaj was made the first chairman of the GBC,
And I think Madhudvisa was his secretary.
and Madhudvisa was his secretary, Swami,
Satsvarup Maharaj.
or Sasru Maharaj.
And Madhudvisa was the third man in the troika.
And Madhudvisa was one of the third men and part of that GBC leadership.
So throughout the festival, it was very interesting to see how Prabhupada handled it.
So throughout the festival, it was very interesting to see how Prabhupada handled that situation.
Complaints were coming in daily.
Complaints were coming in daily.
Other sannyasis that didn't agree with Tamal,
Other sannyasis didn't agree with Tamal Krishna.
then they were also supporting the householders.
They were supporting the householders also.
And it was a big deal.
And it was a very big deal.
I remember just after lunch one day,
Just after lunch one day,
Prabhupada had been in the habit of going up on the roof to get some sunshine.
Prabhupada had been in the habit of going up at the roof of the Lotus building.
And the GBCs were meeting every day for 3 or 4 days.
The GBCs were meeting every day for 3 or 4 days.
And they were passing resolutions.
And they were passing resolutions.
That all grihastas have to earn their money outside the temple.
Say that again.
All grihastas.
All the grihastas are outside in the morning at the temple.
Has to earn money
Oh,
out of
they-
the temple. All the grihasthas have to earn money out of the temple.
I still can't hear that part.
All the grihastas have to pay for their,
Oh, all the grihastas have to pay for their,
should get jobs and pay
to
for
get jobs and pay for their own living.
looking after this family.
Yeah.
There was a mood of in the sannyasi camp, sannyasi brahmachari camp. There was a mood of why should we collect all the money?
All right, yeah. There was
And
a mood
then-
of why should we collect all the money for the grihastas living in the temple?
Yeah. So it was getting quite nasty.
So it's getting quite nasty.
And there were several others that they
Several.
passed. Several other resolutions.
So there's several resolutions made at that time on this.
So every day they were putting up the previous evening's discussion and resolution.
So every day they were putting up the previous day's resolutions and discussions.
And by the fourth day,
And by the fourth day,
the Grihastas, who were in the vast majority by that time,
the Grihastas were in the vast majority,
plus, as I say, other sannyasis and leading brahmacharis,
plus the sannyasis and the other brahmacharis.
they got so incensed
They got so incensed
that Prabhupada had to let them into his rooms.
that Prabhupada had to.
He had to let them into his rooms.
So Prabhupada had to let them all come into the room.
I was going to say about after lunch
After lunch,
that day, Prabhupada came.
Prabhupada came after lunch that day.
He didn't take his afternoon rest,
He didn't take his afternoon rest.
but I saw him. He came in. He sat on the edge of the bed
He came in, he sat on the edge of the bed,
and he was shaking his head.
and he's shaking his head.
He said, "It seems like there may be a split."
He seems like it's maybe a split.
So he was very anxious, and he couldn't sleep because of it.
He was very anxious and he couldn't sleep because of this.
Agitated.
And
He got agitated.
he was very agitated.
So in the evening, they had this meeting.
So in the evening, he had this meeting.
Prabhupada sat and listened to the 2 or 3 of the main complaints.
So Prabhupada sat and listened to 2 or 3 of the complaints.
And naturally, during the progress of the GBC
And during the
meetings,
during the actual progress of the GBC meetings,
what was he saying?
about the Grihastas and the sannyasis, Prabhupada was very agitated and he's come to some conclusion about this matter. Should the Grihastas get jobs or not?
Yeah. So anyway, Prabhupada was all the way through the first 2 weeks leading up to Gopurnima.
So Prabhupada was there throughout the first 2 weeks for the Gopurnima festival.
And this issue kept coming up
And this
every day.
issue kept coming up every day.
But Prabhupada wouldn't say who's right and who's wrong.
But Prabhupada wouldn't say who's right or who's wrong.
He just preached to them that we're all in the same business of spreading Krishna consciousness.
He would preach that we're all in this business of spreading Krishna consciousness.
So there should be no disagreements.
So there should be no disagreements.
But they were in the 2 opposite forces were in no mood to compromise.
But they are 2 opposite and unwilling to compromise.
Anyway, when they came to Prabhupada's room,
Then he went to Prabhupada's room.
he heard from Jayadvaita Brahmachari
He heard from Jayadvaita Brahmachari
and a few other GBCs and temple presidents.
and a few of the GBCs and temple presidents.
And Prabhupada interdicted,
And Prabhupada interdicted.
and he made a final statement that settled it.
And he made a final statement.
He said, resolution, revolution,
He said, resolution, revolution,
revolution, resolution, no solution.
He said, resolution, revolution, no solution.
So he said, strike all these resolutions.
He said, strike all these resolutions.
The GBC meet for one more day,
The GBC went back for one more day.
and so that's what happened. They all met with Prabhupada.
So they went for a meeting one more day and they all met with Prabhupada, and
Tamal Krishna Maharaj was left isolated.
Tamal Krishna Maharaj was left isolated.
When the meeting had finished,
When the meeting had finished,
all the devotees went out from Prabhupada's room.
All the devotees went up to Prabhupada's room.
I was asking him, now it's all over, so go and stay somewhere else.
Say it again.
I was saying that I was telling the devotees, now it's over.
So Hari Sari was telling the devotees, now it's over.
And the last one in the room was Tamal Krishna Maharaj.
The last one in the room was Tamal Krishna Maharaj.
So he saw me coming.
So he saw Hari Sari coming.
And he said, Prabhu, I just want to spend a few minutes alone with Prabhupada.
He said, Prabhu, I just want to spend a few minutes alone with Prabhupada.
So I respectfully stepped out.
So Hari Sari respectively stepped out.
And after about 10 minutes,
After about 10 minutes,
Tamal Krishna Maharaj came back.
Tamal Krishna Maharaj came back,
Came out, sorry.
came out.
And he was looking very down in the mouth.
He was looking very down in the mouth.
So I went straight into Prabhupada's room.
So Hari Sari went straight into Prabhupada's room,
And Prabhupada was smiling.
and Prabhupada was smiling.
And the next morning,
And the next morning,
during Mangalarti,
during Mangalartik,
then Prabhupada sent me down into the temple room
Prabhupada sent Hari Sari down to the temple room
to find Tamal.
to find Tamal Krishna Maharaj.
And we didn't see him. He was up, but he was not available.
He couldn't find him even though he was up. He wasn't available.
So Prabhupada was upstairs getting ready for his morning walk.
So Prabhupada's upstairs getting ready for his morning walk.
And as he put his tilak on,
As Prabhupada was putting his tilak on,
Prabhupada came. No, sorry. As Prabhupada was
Yeah.
putting his tilak.
as Prabhupada was putting his tilak on,
Then a couple of other GBCs and sannyasis came in.
a couple other GBCs and sannyasis came in.
And Tamal Krishna Maharaj was pacing up and down the room.
So Tamal Krishna Maharaj was pacing up and down the room.
And he told us that what had happened was in the evening before. He felt so bad. He said, I feel like a demon.
He told the voice that because of what happened the evening before, he felt so bad. He felt like a demon.
And my presence here is just causing a disturbance.
My presence here is just causing a disturbance.
I just think I should go somewhere way away from here.
He thought I should go somewhere way away from here.
And he said, like something like China or the moon,
He said somewhere like China or the moon.
because the Chinese Mao Zedong faction had taken over in China, and
I can't say all that.
the leaders in China, political leaders, have made it impossible for anybody to go in or come out.
Oh yeah, during Mao Zedong's time, it was very impossible to go into China or come out.
So Prabhupada, when he came in the early morning, he called in Tamal Krishna Maharaj.
So when Prabhupada came in the morning, he had called Tamal Krishna Maharaj.
And when Tamal came in, Prabhupada was putting on his tilak.
So Tamal Krishna came in while Prabhupada was putting on his tilak.
And Prabhupada said, come in, sit down.
Prabhupada said, come in, sit down.
Madhavisa was there, Guru Kripa was there.
Madhavisa, Guru Kripa was there.
And he had gotten wind, Tamal, he had gotten wind of the intention
Yeah. Tamal Krishna Maharaj had got wind of the intention of Prabhupada.
that Prabhupada wanted him to go to China.
That Prabhupada was going to send him to China.
So he immediately was flipping out.
So immediately he was flipping out.
I can't go to China, I've got too many responsibilities.
Right. I can't go to China, I got too many responsibilities.
It shouldn't be a GBC, it should be a sannyasi.
It should be GBC, it should be sannyasi going.
So that way, Prabhupada, he was basically saying, I don't want to go.
Basically he was saying to Prabhupada, I don't want to go.
And Prabhupada got really angry.
And Prabhupada got very angry.
And when he was putting on his tilak, his hand was shaking.
When he's put it on his tilak, Prabhupada's hand was shaking.
And when Prabhupada got to a certain stage of anger,
Prabhupada got to a certain stage of anger.
it could be the first step was a bit of mild sarcasm.
The first step was mild sarcasm.
The second step was raising his voice.
Second step is his raising his voice.
And the third one was,
Trembling. Trembling.
yeah, his top lip would
Oh.
start quivering.
The third step of Prabhupada being angry is his top lip start quivering.
And he was, well, he would say if he was white, he would have been beetroot red.
Say it again.
If he was white, he would have been, you would say.
Oh, yeah. If Prabhupada was white, he said he would have turned red if he was so angry.
Yeah, he was red, but
He was
he
red.
was flushed.
Okay.
And he said, you said last night,
You said last night. This is
China.
Prabhupada's talking to Tamal. Said, you said last night
Why not look at
that you want to
China?
go. Yeah. You said last night that I might as well go to China.
And Tamal said, but Prabhupada, I was just using it figuratively.
He said, but Prabhupada, I was just using it figuratively.
I just feel that I need to be on my own for a while.
I just wanted to be on my own for a while, so I said like that.
But Prabhupada wasn't going to let him off the hook.
But Prabhupada wasn't going to let him off the hook.
He said, you said it.
Prabhupada said, you said it,
And I thought about it all night.
and I thought about it all night.
So now I decided
So now I decided
you can go to China.
you can go to China.
So that shocked Tamal so much
So that shocked Tamal Krishna Maharaj so much.
that he was trying to object, but he knew that he couldn't because Prabhupada's desire was.
He was trying to object, but he knew, what could he do? Prabhupada made his mind up.
So in the end, I'll try and finish this up, sorry.
So in the end,
Tamal Krishna Maharaj
surrendered. Huh?
surrendered.
So in the end, Tamal Krishna Maharaj surrendered.
Prabhupada shouted at him,
Prabhupada was shouting at him,
I want to preach in China.
I want to preach in China.
Tamal Krishna Goswami does not.
And Tamal Krishna Maharaj Swami does not.
So he said, now I take everything away from
So
you.
now I take everything away from you.
I said, Radha Damodar.
Because he had Radha Damodar and all these things.
That was Prabhupada's, ISKCON's most powerful preaching weapon at that time.
That was Prabhupada's ISKCON's most powerful preaching weapon at the time, Radha Damodar.
So
I think he told him that you either go to China or you sit here in Mayapur.
you sit here and chant.
And you sit here and chant. No more services for you.
So ISKCON,
So he agreed and he started to go to China.
and as soon as he said, oh, all right, I can see that all the fruits of the preaching that we've had, it's not my credit, it's up to Krishna.
Who said that?
Tamal.
Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, he said, all the fruits that we had is not to my credit, it's because of Krishna.
Actually, Prabhupada made a comment
Yeah, actually, Prabhupada made that comment.
that he was what's the word?
I can't help you.
All right, where was he?
What does it imply?
Yeah, he told him that Trivikram Maharaj can go with
Oh,
him.
yeah. He told him he could take Trivikram Maharaj with him.
So Trivikram Maharaj was surrendered.
That's Trivikram Maharaj will surrender. He'd do anything, Prabhupada say.
If Prabhupada wants it, then what's the question?
Say it again.
If Prabhupada wants it, then what's the question? Taking.
If Prabhupada wants it, then it must be done.
So,
He wanted Drishtabhuna instead, though.
well, that came later. So anyway, that was settled then
So that was settled
at the Gopurnima festival.
at Gopurnima festival.
And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he had one request of Prabhupada.
Tamal Krishna Maharaj had one request of Prabhupada.
that instead of Trivikram Maharaj,
Instead of Trivikram Swami,
there was another solo.
there's another
Solo.
solo.
He liked to be on his own.
He liked to be on his own
With just 2 or 3 men.
with just 2 or 3 men.
And he was very stubborn.
And he was very stubborn.
So he went to Prabhupada once in, I think, 75, and told him, Prabhupada, I like you very much.
He once went to Srila, he was so stubborn that once in 1975 he went to Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I like you very much.
But I don't like the
But I don't like
ISKCON.
ISKCON.
Apparently Prabhupada said, I am ISKCON.
And Prabhupada said, I am ISKCON.
So he had a reputation too. So
So he had a reputation like that.
Tamal Krishna reasoned that if he could pick his own man,
So for some odd reason, if he could pick his own man,
he could be more effective.
he could be more effective.
So Prabhupada said, yes, no problem.
So Prabhupada said, that's okay.
So he said, I want to have Drishtajumna Maharaj.
So he decided he wanted to have Drishtajumna Swami,
He'd just taken sannyas a few days before.
who had just taken sannyas a few days before.
He was only like 21, 22 years old,
So only like 21 or 22 years old,
but very intelligent.
but very intelligent.
And he had been one of the leaders in the Radha Sankirtan.
He had been one of the leaders in, I think, New York and Radha Damodar.
Radha Damodar.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada said, yes, do it.
So Prabhupada said, yes, do it.
So that's it. We didn't hear anything for a couple of months.
So we didn't hear anything for a couple of months after that.
And Tamal Krishna came to Hawaii where Prabhupada was staying.
And Tamal Krishna came to Hawaii while Prabhupada was sick.
He was there for 1 month.
And he was there for 1 month.
So in the middle of the month, Tamal Krishna Maharaj came.
So in the middle of the month, Tamal Krishna Maharaj came.
And he had Drishtajumna with him.
And he had Drishtajumna Swami with him.
So Prabhupada was very happy to see them.
So Prabhupada was very happy to see them.
They'd done a really thorough job
They had done a very thorough job
as per Tamal Krishna Maharaj's capabilities.
as Tamal Krishna Maharaj's capabilities.
And they put together a thick report.
They put together a very thick report.
Now, Drishtajumna's father,
Drishtajumna's father,
we've gone to him.
yeah, he was
the president
of
of
Seagram.
Seagram's International.
Drishtajumna's father was the president of Seagram Liquors Company. Seagram's. Seagram's, the alcohol.
Yeah. So he was very friendly.
So he's very friendly.
His parents came to see Prabhupada
His parents came to see Prabhupada,
later on in July of 76.
and later July of 76.
And they were very impressed and very taken with Srila Prabhupada.
They were very impressed and very taken to Srila Prabhupada.
So they'd done this report, they gave it to Prabhupada.
They did this report and gave it to Prabhupada.
And they said, they gave us a verbal summary.
They gave a verbal summary of the report.
And the conclusion was that this is Red China.
The conclusion was this is Red China.
Nobody gets in,
Nobody gets in
nobody gets out.
and nobody gets out.
He said, boys, you've run up a wall, the Great Wall of China.
There's the Great Wall of China.
So Prabhupada didn't seem to be very concerned.
So Prabhupada didn't seem to be very concerned.
He heard that they were trying to meet colleagues and businessmen on the level of his father.
They were trying to meet the colleagues and businessmen on the level of his father, Drishtajumna Maharaj's father.
And they tried in different ways.
They were trying different ways to get into China.
So Prabhupada just, he said, that's all right, then
Prabhupada said, that's all right then.
go back to the Radha Damodar,
Go back to Radha Damodar
New York.
in New York.
Um,
Don't make a disturbance.
um,
And leave the preaching for the next generation. I think he said that, didn't he? He said, leave the preaching for the next generation. They'll do it.
and they have.
Yeah.
But
Should I say that?
he just, he just basically told them it's not important.
Prabhupada said at that time it's not important. I was injecting that. Prabhupada mentioned that he'll leave this preaching for the next generation of devotees to do that preaching in China.
Anyway, it was a good meeting.
It was a very good meeting.
And Prabhupada had just suffered the loss of one of his big leaders a few weeks before.
Yeah. Prabhupada just suffered the loss of one of his big leaders a few weeks earlier.
Vyasa Prabhu.
Madhavisa Prabhu.
He had been in Australia for 3 or 4 years.
He had been in Australia for 3 or 4 years.
And he was having difficulties.
And he was having difficulties.
So news came to Prabhupada when we were in New Zealand.
So news came to Prabhupada when they were in New Zealand.
Some evidence had been found of his problems.
So it was a big thing with all these problems.
And then he left.
And then he left Madhavisa.
So there was a gap in the preaching field there.
So there was a gap in the preaching there.
And so Tamal thought, Prabhupada thought that now Tamal's back.
So Prabhupada thought, now Tamal's back.
So let him take over Madhavisa's zone,
So let him take over Madhavisa's zone,
which was quite extensive.
which was very extensive, New York and so many places,
Plus Radha Damodar.
plus Radha Damodar.
So he was put back on the GBC.
So he's put back on the GBC.
So Prabhupada had taken the necessary action.
So Prabhupada had taken the necessary action,
The wind had blown out of the sails of Tamal Krishna Maharaj,
and the wind was blown out of the sails of Tamal Krishna Maharaj.
and they all worked together again.
And they all went back together again.
Anyway, it's a long story. I'm sorry to take up so much time.
So it's a very long story, and we appreciate him giving us some of the details. Yeah. Sorry he's here. If you get a chance, you can talk to him and get even more nectar, history, details, learning lessons in this con.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, while you still have it. He's 5 books. Get one of his books. Everything's in the books.
Yeah, I had a diary that I kept at that time, and it's become 7 volumes.
7. He has he kept a diary during that period, and it is now 7 volumes.
So if anybody wants the latest edition, volume 6, you can see me in the Vyasa.
If anybody wants volume 6, they can come see him. He has some here at the apartment. Maybe, I don't know if they're in the bookstores.
Not yet.
Where? At the Hati building.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to finish. Thank you all very much.
Haribos, Grace Shrita Kirti Prabhu ki. Tamal Krishna Maharaj ki.
All right.
Oh,
so
great.
much.
I got the nice when you translate it a little bit more. I don't see it.
Now we will have Pushpanjali and Arati, and then we will. outside the city, suddenly we would start those state parks in the winter, sleeping back on the sides of book boxes with different ideas, shapes, and around 3:30 a.m. most of us would dive into the snow outside for our morning walking hours, rubbing on each other. Then we would back in the park. It's Srimad Bhagavatam is astonishing and motivating. Then we just did the bands of the cities for book. And whenever Srila Prabhupada was in the US or Canada, we would just follow him to all the temples we attend the Srila Bhagavatam class, get his lotus hand. His Holiness Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami always introduced us to him. Now I look back on those days, miss the taking over the one-time spirit we had then. All glories to His Holiness Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. I promise next year I will not to speak, but just to hear more and more about His love, His grace, Gokul Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay. Everybody got the flowers? Yes. Okay.
So, Hare Krishna. I'll be chanting the Guru Parampara, and then we'll chant, when we chant, we'll chant, and after chanting the Krishna Maharaj every time you can offer the flower. If you offer the flower,
Three times.
no, they can offer it here?
Yes.
Okay, offer the after, আচ্ছা আমরা এখন পুষ্পাঞ্জলি অর্পণ করবো কৃষ্ণের উদ্দেশ্যে তো পুরো পত্র তারপরে দুবার কৃষ্ণের প্রণাম পাঠ করা হবে এবং যখন প্রতিবার পাঠ করার পর আপনি যখন এসব পুষ্পাঞ্জলি কিছু সময় পাননি এই সময় আপনারা ওনার আলোকের উদ্দেশ্যে কৃষ্ণ নিবেদন করবেন ঠিক আছে আমরা শুরু করছি
साद्वैतम सावधूतम परिजना सहितम कृष्ण चैतन्य एवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादा सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखा विदांश कृपा पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती इति नामिने श्री वैष्णवानवी देवी द्वैताय विदग्धये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने नमोरे नमः माधुर्य उज्ज्वल प्रेमानंद श्री रूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्ते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनतारिणे रूपानुग विनुद्ध आप सिद्धांत भांत हारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय दक्ष वैराग्य मूर्तये विप्रलम्भ संबोधे पादमुजाय नमः भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुग परायते निर्दिष्ट सज्जन प्रिय वैष्णव सर्वभौम जगन्नाथाय नमः पंचतत्व मुखम कृष्ण भक्तरूप स्वरूपकम भक्तावतारम भक्तकम नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं नमो महावदनाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपीनाथ
after having প্রণাম মন্ত্র you offer flower.
বাংলা
এখন আমরা পুষ্পাঞ্জলি অর্পণ করবো বৈষ্ণব মহারাজের প্রণাম মন্ত্র প্রতিবার বলার পর যখন বলা হবে সমর্থন তখন আপনারা পুষ্প অর্পণ করবেন।
Tamal Krishna Goswami
अच्छा कीर्तन 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 वही सर माता जी कीर्तन कीर्तन